Okay, now we're going to work on putting the crank into the cases. So we got to fit up everything on that part of the deal. This one here is done for now. This is our left case. We already put the Timken in there. So now we got to set our in play with the Timken. So it'll be all of this stuff here. Need to clean all this up and do this. So, this is the holding fixture for the Harley. I'm going to use this. Here's our crankshaft. So these holes here inside the crank, put the tool engages on. Alright. I'll go ahead and put these bearings in there. Oop, drop it on the floor. So I got to clean these up a little bit. And we're going to set our in play on these things. Alright. Okay, get these nice and clean now. Get all that packing crap off of them. Okay, now this washer here, hard to see here. This is our shim washer. It goes in between these bearings right here. When you torque this down all the way against that, that sets the in play for in between your cages, your races inside the case. So as you make this thinner, it gets tighter. As you make it thicker, it gets looser. These are supposed to be preset, but I rarely believe that. I never believe it, but rarely is it accurate. So we always play with it. So what I do is I pre-lube these with some oil. Like that. You work it in a little bit. Like that. I put it over here on the crankshaft over there. Take our spacer and put it on there too so I don't lose it. We use our tool down here. Yeah, the one that the camera stands in the way up. So this is our Sportster tool, big twin tool. These are our shims to choose from. I don't have very many Sportster shims, so if these don't work, we have to make them. Alright, so this here is a pulling fix. You do not ever push a crank into a case. It will knock it right out of true instantly. So what this does is it tightens up on the end of the shaft here, and then you press it together right here by pulling on the end of the shaft. So the only pressure on the crank is only this much distance on the end of the crank. No pressure is on the crankshaft itself. It's just on the main shaft, and this pulls it all together. I put a thrust bend here to make it easier for me to do it, so it makes it very easy to turn for the amount of pressure you're using anyway. First you screw it down on the crank. Whenever it overcomes the load, it'll pop this piece off here. Binding up, probably the washer. There it goes. they're pretty tight. Whew, definitely tight. So this here is just a big nut screws on the shaft right there. Alright, when these go on really, really tight, it expands them, which makes them tighter. If they go on really loose, they don't expand, they're looser. That's why you have to change the inflays on these things. Same thing when you push them in the case over there. If you push your races into the case, and the case is worn out, and they go in there really loose, they don't crush, so they're makes the bearing loose. If they go in really, really tight and squeeze way down, then the bearing's tight. So that's why there's no way of checking it beforehand. You have to do it by assembly, because you never know what all the pressures are until you do it. Okay, just going to lubricate the hole here a little bit. It goes together like that. We got the other bearing to do here. Same deal, put a little grease around here, or oil. This works pretty good doing it this way. There we go. Pull together tool and make sure that spacer is in there. Don't forget. Case doesn't move, it's tight. So this one's not tight. Now we got to check for in-play. So you can see how the bearing's under. Right now it's under tension because I have not loosened this up. See, it's tight. So what we're going to do is feel for in-play. Hear it? Feel it? See the case going up and down? That's pretty loose. So this one's pre-fitted nice and loose. This is great for racing, but for the street, it's a little tight. I mean, it's a little loose, I mean. Now this is going to be a high performance motor, so you're going to rev it up a little bit, so I like it a little bit loose, but not this loose. So now we're going to press this apart, and then we're going to go ahead and put a thinner shim in there, whatever's in it. You want to check it under load, so that's why I left that tight. Because after I take the load off, it can open up a little bit and get looser yet. Okay, so now I got to go over here to the press, over there, and I got to press the crank out. Once again, the only load on the crankshaft is on the bearing to the end of the crank. So all your load is right here on the shaft. There's no load on the crankshaft down here. Because if you squeeze on this crank at all, if you remember the truing stand deal in a previous video, it knocks it out of true, because that's how you true it. So you don't want to be forcing it. It will not help it any. That dropped too early. Don't drop your crank like that. Jeez. I haven't done that in years. I was just getting ready to put my hand on the bottom of it when it fell. So now we have a problem. Somebody manhandled the crank. So now I gotta go check it for trueness. It's a good thing I got a truing stand right here. We got that thing just about perfect over here. Now I get to redo it. Or at least check it. One advantage of putting these together really, really tight, stuff like this doesn't affect them easily. Slimy. Problem with this is the bearing's in the way to check it. I think it helped it. Yeah. Okay, we don't want these needles to move. This one wasn't moving at all. This one was barely moving. So now, after manhandling, pretty much they're not moving. About the same. Okay, so that's why you put them together really, really tight. They don't move much when you bang them up like that. Okay, but don't do that no more. No more bangy. Very hard on the cranks. Okay, so now I got to figure out our bearing situation. We got to come over here and figure this all out. I'm going to put the crank back in the holding fixture. You got to deal with the camera guy too. Camera guy doesn't very good at keeping track where we're at. Alright, here's our washer. I'm going to go find a little bit thinner one. First thing I do is figure out what size this is. It's about a 6 3/4. So we can probably drop it all the way down to a 5 1/4. Don't mix up that one, I've got to keep them separate. I don't have very many to choose from, so hopefully one of these is what we need. Okay, there's 5 3/4. This is what, 6 1/2? Yeah, this one's a 6 1/2, 6 3/4. So that's a good candidate right there. Let's see what else we got here. Way too big. 6 1/4. No. 0, no way. Ooh, it's a big one. 10, nope. 8, nope. 16, oh, nothing even made them that big. Let's see, 7 1/2, that's about what we got right now. And a 14, yeah. Quite a selection. Well, looks like this is the candidate right here. This one's just under 6. That one was close, a little bit less than that. Yep. Go back and double check. Looks like that's going to be the guy we're going to use. 8, and the last one to double check is the one that's a little bit bigger. Yeah, this is barely smaller than we got in there now. Okay, and this one was what? Yeah, we're not going to gain much. It's not going to be very noticeable. It's going to help it, but I'd like to see something a little bit smaller than this. So I'm going to take it back on the grinder, do a little grinding on it. See if I can knock off a half a thou or so off of this to a thou. And get knocked down. This one over here is 5.5, what I'm getting right now. This one's basically just under 5. So, alright, I'm going to go grind this a little bit. We'll be back. Okay, we're back. So one trick I did was I took a Sportster lower collar that I've trimmed down for valve seals. And it's a holding fixture I could hold it on the grinder and not burn my fingers. Getting smarter in my old age. Okay, so now we are down to just under 5 on the low spot. 5 right there, 5 right there, and just under 5 right there. So that's going to knock us down pretty good. So go ahead and try this, see what kind of clearance we get over here. Should be a big improvement. Let's see, I'll put this thing over here somehow. Okay, that goes right there. Alright, the rods need to go in between the holes over here. So make sure you put the 2 rods where they belong. Otherwise you have a problem putting them together. Tension. Okay, still very free, no drag on it. Still got clearance in it too. Still quite a bit, surprisingly. Yeah. Doesn't seem like it took much out, does it? Alright, so that didn't do it. So that was a thou and a quarter, thou and a half I took off. Didn't make much difference. So, I gotta figure out what washer we're gonna use over here. I don't know if I had anything that's done with 2. I don't think I had anything done with 2. I think the next washer down was the 0. I'd be shocked if it was that far down we had to go up there. Yeah, 0 is our next one. I don't see any way in the world to go down to a 0. That's a lot of, it takes out a lot more than what we're just dropping the washer by. We're basically at 4 3/4 right now. That's 5 thou out. There's no way it's going to go down that low. Take a look, see if I got any more washers floating around. Don't think so. We'll take a check. See, the earlier motors, they were on a solid spacer. They don't have a split washer. These cost more to make. They're also better. Usually things that are better cost more. Yeah, there's nothing in here. Thought I had them all out already. Alright. Looks like I'm about to knock it out of another thou off of that, so I'll be back. Okay, I got this back apart. Got the washer out. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the collar like this. And right over here in the grinder, flatten it out. So I'm going to take off half a thou is what I want to take off. So right now we're about 4 3/4 to 5, and a little bit lower there. So I'm gonna get down about 4 1/2 to 4 1/4. That's on the mic. Okay, so I'm gonna hold it like that and try not to get my fingers stuck in there. Ooh. Okay, it's a little bit thick on this side, so we'll try that. Didn't do anything. Yeah, about 4 3/4. Do it again. You want to sneak up on it so you don't take too much. Gotta wipe the grit off too each time. The grit will give you a false measurement. Oh, it cut way down that time. Parts of it did anyway. Cut a little bit too much on the top, enough on the bottom. So let's see if we can make it cut more on the top. Give myself a rib job over here every time I walk in this fucking stupid ass fender. So it gets you right here in the ribs. Boom. There's a bruise in there pretty soon. Race bike's getting even. Okay, there's 4 1/2. So your mic. 4 1/2 right there. A little under 4 1/2, 4 1/4, 4 1/4. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. We'll clean all this stuff off. We'll be back.